Maybe you've heard that feeling is the secret to stepping into your desired reality. But then you may have also heard contradictory opinions that you don't need to feel anything at all, and that all you need to do is change your thoughts that reflect your desired reality. So, today we're going to break down what feeling is the secret means from our perspective, and we're going to talk about different questions that you've asked us related to what kinds of thoughts and emotions one must have to live in the end of loving relationships. Hi guys, I'm Anila Reddy from the Vibe Project, and today I'm excited to share that I'm collaborating with Nia from the Wish Fulfilled, and we're going to answer your questions about living in the end based on the Neville Goddard way of living, meaning the law of assumption. I just want to share that, what living in the end means to me. So, living in the end is a natural consequence of being in the state of the wish fulfilled. So, it's not really a technique, it's an effect of knowing that your desires are already here and present right now. It's not a means to an end, it's not taking you from point A to point B. It's a realization that everything that you desire is done. And so the conclusion is that you're living in the end of having your desire right now. So, with that, we're going to start with our question and answers. And so Nia is going to share our first question.
First question we received was, what is your favorite way to capture living in the end? And I think it's best if you start with this because you had your lovely intro.
Okay, thank you so much, Nia. So my favorite way to capture living in the end is, so I'm a very auditory person, meaning most of the times the way I feel or experience the knowing that my desire is done is through audio. And it's really short. And I usually, for example, I hear my friend smile. If I want to manifest a great friendship or resolve a friendship that was hurtful or a betrayal, or even if if I had an argument with my specific person, which I used to have, then I would just use audio to hear their smile, and that would take me to the knowing that it's done.
Wonderful.
And that's one of the ways, my favorite way. What's yours?
You are auditory. I think I am more kinesthetic. So, it is touch that I think is my favorite way to capture living in the end. And it doesn't even need to be, I would say, really specific to the desire. It can be any normal act, like for example, brushing my hair. I have a very specific hairbrush that I like to use, and I use the same brand all the time. And I enjoy it because the bristles just feel so soft on my scalp. So when I capture living in the end, how I do that is kind of feeling the bristles against my scalp, just imagining myself brushing my hair and asking myself the question, if I already had what it was that I wanted, how would I brush my hair? Like how would it feel like as I feel the bristles against my scalp? So for you it's auditory, for mine it is touch and kinesthetic.
Yeah, absolutely love that, and that's a great question. Even I ask myself, and the way you do with your brush is also what I do with my phone, because my phone is something I always have in my hand, and a sip of a water bottle, or my favorite drink, which is watermelon juice, like the non-cocktail version. So I imagine what it would feel like to actually take that sip of watermelon juice, or a sip of water, or hold my phone, because these are all activities that we do in our day-to-day life. But because all of these activities
when we do them out from the external perspective, for somebody looking from the outside, they all seem like we do the same activities every day. But since they're coming from different states, meaning if I know that I'm a loving and happy partner, I'm going to hold my phone one way. Like the phone actually feels light, and I don't feel like super anxious or like feel like constantly checking. But if I'm in a state of an insecure partner, then I'm going to take my phone, the same phone, and I could be holding it, but in the back of my head, and I'm like, oh, like where's the text? Like, why isn't it here yet? Maybe I should try imagining one more time, like very logical and you get here now kind of process.
Yeah. No, I think that is interesting actually, because now that I think about it, when I think about, when I am not in the state of the wish fulfilled, how do I brush my hair? Like, am I angry? Like, even where I start, like typically I will brush my hair, from the ends and then move my way up. And now that I think about it, if I'm not in a state in which I am at peace, or even if I'm, living in the end, it tends to be very rash. And now I think about it, I start from the top and it actually hurts more because you don't get the tangles out before you brush your entire head. Anyway, I just thought of that now.
And that's great because I also noticed that all the typical day-to-day activities that we do, like drink water or watermelon juice, they happen so robotically when we are not in our desired state. It's just like, whatever, give me a sip of water, I'm going to sleep, and hopefully tomorrow I'll get in my state and nail this technique, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the second question is, what are the emotions that you feel when you live in the end?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think most of us, and even I used to make this mistake, we would confuse what an emotion is with what feeling is. Obviously now, to a layman, they both appear the same. But when Neville says feeling is the secret, he means the feeling of the fulfillment of knowing that my desire is already here and now. And now that feeling can feel something as plain and ordinary as anything. You could possibly even say that it feels like nothing special. So I really want to share that you don't have to feel like happy or like excited or like, oh my God, it's coming or it's here. Because here's the thing, when I know that I have a phone, that I own a phone, I'm a phone owner, and I have my phone in my hand, the knowing that I own the phone and it's with me is plain. It doesn't feel like anything. The knowing that I'm wearing this t-shirt, this yellow t-shirt, and I have hair on my head doesn't feel anything special. That's the same thing as knowing that I'm in the wish fulfilled or wearing a shirt, having black hair, owning the phone. The knowing of my desire being done and knowing that it's here now is as simple as knowing it's the same feeling, or not even the same feeling, but similar feeling as to knowing that this is the outfit I'm wearing and it's a plain feeling, nothing special. So you don't have to, how do you say, drive yourself crazy. And I know this is what I did, like, oh, I should feel good that it's here.
Yes.
Like, this is here and now. I'm feeling it. I know it's mine. My desires are a promise. Now I sound like a robot,
Yeah, I think it's really easy to get caught up in that loop, especially, if you're coming to Neville Goddard from the law of attraction, or even other concepts and aspects of it, in which they say you have to vibrate higher. There's that concept that, when you feel good, these emotions, all of these things that are also positive is the thing that is going to bring your desires to you. And I think, with Neville Goddard, and instead of, feeling it, what we do is we shift into states. We embody the state that we want. So, when it comes to this question where it's like, what are the emotions that you feel when you live in the end? Tying back to what you said about it being a plain feeling. When I began to embody the wish fulfilled and thus living the end out of it, it just felt like my normal life. You're right. It doesn't really feel like anything special. And with that said, any emotion that came up, I would welcome them because it didn't even not to say that they don't matter, but it is just normal to have them. And I didn't feel as though I needed to neglect any of these emotions. I don't feel as though I need to numb any of these emotions. I was allowed to hold space and create space in my heart for all these emotions, even when I'm in the state of the wish fulfilled, because I know that I'm defined by who I really am and not necessarily the state that I am in.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely agree with that, because so I just want to share before I share my next point, synonyms of what feeling fulfilled feels like, right? You can feel lighthearted, you can feel relief, you can feel satisfaction, you can feel contentment, you can feel like it's normal, regular, nothing special, ordinary way of life. And so from the sense of wholeness, this is the sense of wholeness or completion, or which is the real you, and the real you is nothing but God or consciousness or love. Now, from this sense of knowing that it's done, feeling this plain, ordinary, complete feeling, like I'll never feel the need to defend my emotions when I'm in the state of the wish fulfilled. So even when fears arise, and believe you me, I had like tons of fears around
Yes.
relationships, even though
Yeah.
I know that everything was working out just fine, I would be willing to just observe them. Like, cool, you're here. So what?
Yeah.
I know who I am. Why would I be so interested in flipping the thought, affirming
Mhm.
the opposite, or replaying an imaginal act as a way
Mhm.
to escape these fears? I don't need to do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think when these things come up, I mean, you're manifesting all the time, and typically what comes up is, it's kind of your internal conversations that you're having that you are observing. So when these emotions come up, they're not an invitation to neglect them. They're really an invitation to know to get them better, because they are not, when we talk about this, the state of wholeness, the state of oneness, nothing is separate from you. You are not separate from anything. You are whole. And when I think about the concept of love, and not even concept, but love, which is who we truly are. And when I think about love being undefined and unconditional, unbounded,
Mm.
love would never look at it like an emotion that it did not, and would never say, I do not like you, I do not welcome you. Love would never say that, because love is unconditional. And I think when you embody this love in which you are lovingly observing any single emotion that comes up, that in itself is you being in the state of the wish fulfilled, and thus you are living in the end. So I just wanted to add that too when it came to emotions. But what you said was beautiful.
When an emotion comes up in front of love, because it is so infinite.
An analogy that comes to mind is when a mother is watching her child through the window, she allows her child to roam freely in the playground. She knows the playground is safe, but she isn't interested in the child's game. She's just looking out the window while she's using her laptop, engaged in her own work, or while she's busy reading, for instance. She's just holding her child in her loving presence. Like, okay, cool. You're playing and enjoying yourself, and you can do that while I'm working or reading. So the mother isn't disturbed by the child's game or play. The mother just knows that the child is there safe on the playground as she's involved in her own work. And so, similarly, just like a nurturing mother, love or consciousness has infinite room for fears to come up. Love allows the fearful, childlike, innocent part of you that is experiencing these fearful or anxious emotions or thoughts to come up and move through us freely without trying to change them in any way. And so soon, the fears or any kind of negative thoughts or emotions fade away when we are not interfering with their movement in us, and we're not doing a process of observing our thoughts in order to feel better, but we're just interested to know whatever is happening within us. So we're allowing these emotions or thoughts to come up without any kind of end goal. And when they come up without any kind of end goal, that's when they move through us quickly. Each time we explore them without any preconceived intentions. And before you go, make sure you grab your worksheet in the description box below, which describes living in the end in brief and will help you see an overview of what living in the end of loving relationships really means and how you can use that Be sure to subscribe to our channel to get regular updates, because Nia and I are going to answer more of your questions on how to know that you're in a loving relationship with either a specific person, or how to know that your desires are already yours. So hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you next time.